Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, viewers in Uganda, in Ghana, viewers in Zambia, in Cameroon, in Africa, and in the world at large. Thanks all to you all for joining this panel discussion on agriculture. Bonsoir spécial à toute la population, à tous nos téléspectateurs du côté de Bamako au Mali. Nous vous souhaitons à tous et à toutes la bienvenue, n'est-ce pas, à cette discussion de jeunes Africains. So the program, the panel discussion is going to be very, very enriching, very, very important for every African youth who is an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur. First of all, we must apologize for the late start. We went through some technical problems, so please do bear with us. So the title, the theme of the panel tonight is the African youth in the reappropriation of agriculture as a pillar of economic development in Africa. For the French-speaking people, la jeunesse africaine dans la réappropriation de l'agriculture comme pilier du développement économique en Afrique. Alors, le décor a été planté. Without much ado, I'm going to move straight away to the presentation of the various panelists who are joining us here this moment. And like every gentleman will always have it, we will begin with the ladies because we say ladies before gentlemen. So I have a handful of panelists full of intellectuals, experts as far as agriculture is concerned, who are going to come to throw more light on what agriculture is all about, what this sector is all about, and why not make a young man out there aspire to join this sector. So, without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce to you this very wonderful person, Nanku Chilima. She's a year four student in the Department of Agronomy at the People's Friendship University in Russia. She is a Zambian. Good evening, Nanku, and thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Nanku. Would you want to say hello in a Zambian local language so the Zambian people can understand that their sister is right up there?
Sure. Mwachumabwanji Bonse, Mulishani Bonse, and thank you for joining.
Okay, thank you very much. We hope the Zambian people have received a warm greeting, warm salutation from their own lovely daughter and sister, Nanku Chilima. And I'm moving now to the second lady on the panel. She is a CEO, the CEO of YMD Youth Make a Difference. She is an entrepreneur. She is a Cameroonian based in Russia. This is no other person than uh, Tense Kusi Tatiana. Good evening to you, Tatiana, and welcome on board.
Good evening, Flora. Thank you for
Uh,
having me, even though we are the host, but thank you for having me here.
all
I'm
right,
happy
that's
to be
very
part of the
sure.
panel.
Thank you very much for joining. We would like you, it's a tradition, we would like you to say a word or two in the local language to your Cameroonian brothers, to the Russian people watching us right now. Just say something and so they can understand that we have started.
Okay, I'm gonna say hello in the Balikumbat language. I'm gonna
Okay.
just say hello. Can you guys get me?
We are, yes, we are.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to say Nyunyele Idie. So that's in the Balikumbat language from the
Okay,
northwest region of Cameroon.
okay, we hope the Balikubat people had their daughter right. Thank you very much, and just stay there because you will definitely be of a great support to this panel tonight. Now let's move to the men. It was very important we presented the ladies because, like I said, ladies before gentlemen. Now we are traveling to Ghana. We are landing in Accra to meet this handsome and challenge challenge fighter, I should call him that way. This broadcaster, he's a social entrepreneur, right all the way from Ghana, holder of a BFA in theater, art, and dance studies, who is now in agriculture. Interesting, right? Ladies and gentlemen, with all joy, may we receive Ewura Adams Karim. Good evening to you, Ewura Adams Karim.
A very good evening to you, my brother. Good evening
Karim,
to everyone that's watching us this evening.
good evening, Karim, and welcome on board.
Good evening, bro. Thank you so much for having me. A very good evening to everyone as well, who is watching us right now.
Thank you very
It's
much. Karim, you are equally a co-founder of Maltiti Foundation. The profile is kind of yet to be exalted, but I just had to give the one I could give. So you
absolutely.
are an inspiring young man. Thank you very much, a man of you inspire many people out there.
Thank you so much. I'm very humbled.
Okay. All right. We have a second gentleman. He's an agriculturalist. He's an agribusiness expert. He's the founder of Inspire Livelihoods. He's a Pan African youth leader as well. He works as a livelihood technical trainer at the World Vision in Uganda since 2019. This is no other person but Wakabu Teresa, all the way from Uganda. Good evening, brother, and welcome on board.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be part of the panel.
Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. And last but not the least, à toute la population au Mali, voici votre digne fils, le fils qui vous rend fier. Il est le CEO de Food Santé, également de Sene Invest, basé au Mali, à Bamako. Il est également un passionné, n'est-ce pas, du travail de la terre. Et d'ailleurs, il a commencé à 14 ans avec une somme de 10 000 francs CFA. Il aura à nous éclaircir là-dessus davantage. Et il est également le deuxième jeune talent au laboratoire d'innovation des jeunes pour l'Afrique de l'Ouest, organisé par Save the Children. Monsieur Adama Kanté. Bonsoir, mon frère, et bienvenue sur le panel.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me, and it is a real pleasure for me to be here. Thank you.
Mon frère, tu voudrais bien ajuster ton volume? On t'entend à peine. Moi, la connexion n'est pas assez bonne.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Kante Adama, and it is a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you.
Ok, wow. Bon, un gros CV, un CV aussi costaud pour un jeune aussi jeune, si je dois me permettre la répétition. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have been able to see all of the panelists right now. Like I told you, the theme of this panel discussion is the African youth in the reappropriation of agriculture as a pillar of economic development in Africa. We are diving straight away into deep waters, but I would like to start with one question since we are dealing with agriculture. So I'm going to address this to Wakabu for him to let us know. Wakabu, what for you is agriculture? I mean, agriculture, what is it all about? Definition and maybe some types of agriculture.
Okay, to me, agriculture is more of a business, just that most people think it's supposed to be a development part of most countries. But I would want to encourage young people to look at agriculture as a business. In this sense, agriculture is commonly taken to be the digging, maybe, mainly, sometimes more of rearing animals. But I would want to employ young people to think at it as an agricultural value chain. We have a number of number of chains that we can consider in this sector. It could be under processing. It could be under maybe value addition. It could be into international exportation of agricultural producers. It could be at all levels. So agriculture is commonly looked at production level, but we can't go beyond that. And that's what I want us to start looking at. I'll quote the words of the president of the African Development Bank, where he quotes and says that the next generation of millionaires are going to be agriculture people and farmers. So the question is, as a young person, have we, or as young people, have we set ourselves in a position to be the next millionaires? Have we set ourselves in a position that we can earn something from agriculture? That is a question I want us to set ourselves to think about as young people.
Thank you very much. I would like to.
So
Does
for me,
Ewaru have some? Okay, okay. Sorry. You want to round up? Let me hear you.
no, I wanted to complete by saying that to me, I want
Yes.
to allude to the fact that agriculture goes beyond production. It goes into value
Okay.
addition, processing. It
Okay.
goes into
Okay.
exportation. It goes into
Right.
ICT in agriculture.
Okay.
You
Okay.
might be an agriculturalist, but you're doing agriculture insurance. And that is why you found your niche as an agriculturalist or as a person who wants to contribute to agriculture. So I don't want people to think that agriculture is meant for those old women in the village or meant
Wow.
for our parents who are looking
That's
for a
good.
survival something. But we can also invent in agriculture, in ICT. We can invent into writing blogs on agriculture. We can invent into writing journals. We can invent into processing. There is a lot of demand on candy, cheese. There's a lot of demand on maybe cakes and everything. And these are produces. These are products that are got from agriculture producers. So I would want to employ young people to look at agriculture beyond production.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Makabo. Adams Karim, do you have something to add? Maybe some types of agriculture? Adams?
Well, I think that the previous speaker basically said it all, and I mean he talked about the fact that agriculture goes beyond the whole production stage. It's an entire value chain, and so we can be looking at agriculture for. There's some music in the background which is a bit distracting. All right, great, thank you very much, beautiful, thank you. So we when we talk about agriculture, we can definitely talk about cultivating or growing crops. We can talk about raising or rearing livestock. We also have people who do agriculture. For instance, horticulture, for instance, is also a form of agriculture that has to do with beautification, right? So it takes a different form. People engage in agriculture not just necessarily for growing food crops that we're going to eat, but also to grow flowers, to grow grass that we use for beautification, and even for medicinal purposes. Right, people cultivate herbs and then roots and all of these things for medicinal purposes. So agriculture takes an entire different phase. It is not solely limited to just cultivating or growing food crops for feeding or rearing animals for feeding only, but then also we can talk about growing flowers, growing grass for beautification purposes, and all of that. So yeah, that's a bit that I'll just add to this.
Thank you very much. I'm really sorry. I was the music was disturbing in the background. Actually, like I told you, I've been trying to fix my connection, but I think all is fine now. Thank you very much, Adams, for the addition. Alors, Monsieur Kanté, vous êtes là? Monsieur Kanté?
Yeah.
Peut-être juste pour une minute nous dire quelque chose sur l'agriculture. Qu'est-ce que l'agriculture et quelques types pour permettre à la population au Mali, n'est-ce pas, d'avoir une certaine quintessence de ce qui est discuté sur le plateau.
Bon, je pense que je vais parler peut-être anglais pour que, voilà, les gens autour de moi puissent un peu comprendre. Mais si j'ai des difficultés à communiquer en anglais, je continuerai en français. But I think that I will be simple. Agriculture is the processing to be in the value chain, maybe in production, in vegetables production, or being in animal production. That's what I can say about agriculture.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't know, Mr. Adama, you should check your device very well. There is this noise. There is this noise when you're speaking. Maybe you should try to see how to arrange it. Thank you very much. And now I would like to give this question to the to Mr. Adams Karim. Adams Karim. What really inspired you as a young person? Because I went through your profile. It's true, I didn't go, I cannot have everything about you because you are a very great man, but I realized that you have a BFA in something else, but here you are in agriculture. You are a broadcaster, and like, what really inspired you to get involved in agriculture?
All right. Thank you very much. Once again. Sometimes that's usually the irony, because people say, but I mean, you studied theater, arts, and dance. So
Mm,
what are you
mm.
doing in the agricultural sector? What are you doing as a farmer? But this is it. So what a lot of people do not know is that my father happens to be an agriculturist. All right. So
Wow.
growing up as a young chap, I started picking up these lessons from him. I started learning from my father. I started going to the farms, with him, going hunting with him. So for me, that is how I picked it up like that. So usually, during vacations, I remember when I was growing up quite young, we would go. My dad would take me to the village to stay with my uncles. And so during that period, we'd go to the farm every morning, check on the crops, and then come back home. Then later in the evening, we go hunting and stuff like that. So for me, that is how I picked up that trait. I mean, I was just a young man. I didn't really know exactly what it is I was doing. I didn't really think it was something that I was going to be doing, big time someday in the future. But here we find ourselves today. But most importantly,
Hello,
aside the fact that, can you hear me?
hello. Could you,
Hello?
Karim, please stay. Please, just calm down a little. Your connection was.
Okay.
Can you come again?
All right, sure. So what I was saying is that,
Hello.
is it clear now? Is it clear now? Can you hear me now? So yeah, great. So what I was saying is that, aside the fact that I grew up as a young man in that particular space, with the father being an agriculturist, most importantly, what pushed me to refocus on agriculture again properly is the fact that I've realized that it is actually the key to the development of our continent if we really want to get this continent where it ought to be. Agriculture is the backbone of any nation, because people are always going to feed every day, right? And so the only way we can get African countries to be self-sufficient, the only way we can create enough jobs for people, the only way we can end hunger and end poverty is through agriculture, is when people get into that space and people cultivate enough crops to feed the nation. So much so that there's even excess that we can export to other parts of the world. Then what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be solving our own hunger issues back home. And then also we're going to be creating enough jobs for people, because agriculture is an entire value chain on its own. It is not just limited to going to the farm and cultivating the crops and leaving it there. But then there are people who do the cultivation part. There are people who come to them and aggregate, right? After aggregation, there are people who transport the crops. There are people who even, add value to the crops, right? And so it's an entire value chain. It's an entire process on its own that has the potential to create enough jobs for people, that has the potential to ensure that we create employment, so we are ending poverty because people are going to be making money. It also has the potential to ensure that we feed people, and so we're going to be ending hunger and all of that. And so that's what gives agriculture that huge potential. And so for me as a young person who, yes, went to school to study theater, arts, and dance, but has found myself in the agricultural space, these are the things that inspire me, to remain in that particular space. These are the things that inspired me to get into the particular space in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Karim, for this wonderful talk you had. So I'm going to continue with Nanku. Nanku, what inspired you to be interested in the agricultural sector? Because we should understand that Nanku is a fourth-year student at the Faculty of Agronomy. So Nanku, can you tell us what inspired you to go towards that sector?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. To start with, I have not fully gone into the sector. I'm only studying at the moment. But I would say my inspiration draws back from when I was a kid. I grew up in an extended family, I would say, and we did a lot of farming in the village, in a village setting. So from there, I developed the desire to improve food production in my country and in Africa, and even go beyond borders, I would say. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Monsieur Adama Kanté, est-ce que vous pouvez nous dire en quelques mots, qu'est-ce qui vous a inspiré dans le secteur d'agriculture? What inspired you? Because as a young person, we know many young people are not inspired towards that sector. People want to be doctors, people want to be lawyers. But what inspired you to join the agricultural sector?
For the first time, the inspiration came when I had to go to the university because I don't have means to pay my scholarship. And at that time, I discovered that agriculture can be one of the factors that can help me to pay my scholarship. And I began to go on this sector. And after being in this sector, there are so many difficulties that I've seen, and that difficulties make show me so many opportunities, and that opportunities was to grow my activities so fastly, and I see the really potential of agriculture in our society because every day people are eating, every day people need food, and I see a real opportunities to making business on this sector. That's why I was so inspiring to be in agriculture sector.
Unmute yourself, please.
Oh, okay. Hello. Thank you. I'm sorry, my mic was muted. And thank you very much, Mr. Adama Kanté. If we need to recall Mr. Adama Kanté, Mr. Adama Kanté is 22 years old, agriculturist, and he is equally the founder and CEO of Food Santé. So now I'm going to channel the next question to Mr. Wakabu. Mr. Wakabu, what do you think is Africa's agricultural potentials?
Thank you very much, Tatiana. That is a question that we should be asking ourselves as young people, because as Africa, our comparative advantages in agriculture, regardless of the country, be it West Africa with cocoa and be it East Africa with coffee, be it any other country you can talk about, our comparative advantage is in agriculture. I will quote the words of the president of the African Development Bank, where he says that land, we hold 2/3 of the total arable land for agriculture. And trust me, that alone shows a lot about what we can do in agriculture. Look at our climate. We have enough rainfall, especially those in the tropics, and we have an advantage of sunshine. We have we have longer days and shorter nights. So that means that we have too much, gifted by nature. We have fertile soils. By the way, I should quote this, that Africa produces the largest agricultural produce that are organic. So our potential is very huge. I would also want to quote that Africa imports about 35 billion currently of agricultural produce, hens and maize from Brazil. But we can do it here. So, and we expect that in the next maybe 30 to 50 years, we'll be at 110 billion imports, and that is in agriculture. So the potential is still very big. Our population is growing every day. People want to eat, as Karim said earlier. People want to eat, and that is a market that will always be open. As long as people feed every day, will need it. But also, I want us to look at the other side of hunger being the biggest challenge of Africa. So I want us to know that at some point, all health challenges that we are having are due to poor feeding, poor nutrition. So there is a high potential of agriculture, be it in production, be it in value addition, be it in processing, be it in exportation. So the potential in agriculture for young people cannot be fully utilized, even if all of us would go in agriculture.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much, Wakabo. Thank you so very much. This is enriching. This is enriching. Adams, Karim, would you want to add something to what Wakabo just shared? Nanku?
I think he's literally just said it all.
My God.
That
My
look,
God.
let's not downplay the potential that agriculture has as far as the African continent is concerned. He's mentioned quite a number. He's talked about cocoa, he's talked about coffee, he's talked about cotton, and these are key major exports of the African continent. But let's move beyond all of these things and look at other things that we can do as a people, right? And look, we have the manpower, we have the land, okay, and we have the right weather conditions, to ensure that agriculture thrives within the African continent. Because we are tropical. What that means is that we can grow anything at all that we want to grow, because our weather condition allows for it. Look at all the grains and cereals, the vegetables, the tomatoes, the chili, the onions. We can cultivate all of these things, and we have the youthful population to be able to do this. Because get you this, even in Ghana, as we speak presently, the youth make up 71% of the Ghanaian population.
As in every African country, almost, we are a very young continent.
Absolutely. So it tells you that we have the manpower to be able to thrive as far as agriculture is concerned. We have enough land to be able to thrive as far as agriculture is concerned. And we also have the technical know-how to be able to ensure that agriculture that we thrive as far as agriculture is concerned. The only challenge which we may have, and I'm sure we'll definitely go into the challenges, and so when we get there, then we can delve into that bit properly. But we indeed do have the
I was actually going to since you were already talking about the manpower, I was actually going to break protocol because it sounds interesting right now. I was actually going to say, okay, we have the manpower, we have all it takes, and why then do we have the impression that we are lagging behind?
All right.
What could really be this young population, this young African population we have? Why does it seem to us that we are kind of behind?
Yeah, so I think that education plays a part in this. You realize that when you come to Africa, our education is very limited to theories. So Education is more theoretical
Okay.
in nature. So we go to school basically just to learn theories, memorize, write exam, pass, and get out, with the hope that okay, we're gonna get a good job, get some good money, put up a house, get married, buy a car, and just enjoy life like that. But education does not really open us up to other opportunities and other potentials that we have as a people. So imagine that we had education that was more practical, education that taught young
Okay.
people to see agriculture as an opportunity to make a living, as an opportunity to
Okay.
feed the nation and end hunger, as an opportunity to create jobs
Okay.
for other people, as an opportunity to add value to whatever it is that we produce back home. Then what would happen is that at the end of the day, you have lots of young people looking towards agriculture and not necessarily just looking towards, being a medical doctor or being a lawyer or what have you, right? People would not see
Yeah.
agriculture as an avenue open to each and every person. But now a lot of young people think that agriculture is just meant for the rural folks, meant for the poor people, meant for the
Sure,
older
sure. That's it.
generation, and exactly, and all of that, which in reality should not be the case, because agriculture is an avenue that anybody at all could be able to get into. And even young people should be much more particular about getting into this space, because even more stronger, have more energy. They can easily learn new technologies that are coming up. And so education plays a huge role as far as that is concerned too. There's a major challenge when it comes to funding for agricultural projects
Okay.
in our part of the continent. And so you don't get a lot of banks wanting to give out facilities, to young people who want to
Okay.
go into agriculture, because of the risk involved. Because obviously agriculture is very risky. It's more of a 50-50 situation. And so you could get in there and
Yeah.
make it, or get in there and not be able to make it, right?
And
So the
that's
banks are very
exactly.
skeptical about giving out facilities for people who want to go into agriculture. And then that's also a challenge. Then when we come to three, we can talk about technology. When you go to other parts of the world, there's huge technological advancements as far as agriculture is concerned. And so people can engage in agricultural activities and not even have to put their hands in the soil, right? And so from all the way from the clearing of the land to the to planting to harvesting and all of these things, people can do all of these things with technology and not get their hands soiled in the dirt and all of that. But we do not have that happening in our part of the world, because we still have people that are still doing hoe and cutlass kind of farming, and that's also
Okay.
problematic, right?
Okay.
And agriculture has not been made too attractive enough for young people to want to be able to go into, because we need to
So
make it
you
attractive.
so you would say African youth are not interested into agriculture because it has
That's not
not
what
been
I'm
made
going to say.
attractive?
I think that African youth are interested, but we just have not made it attractive enough for them to be able to go into. And let me just end
Okay.
with this point before you take
Okay.
over. So you
Yes, you
see, the
should. You
thing is
should.
that,
You should.
yeah, as much as I'm always advocating for agriculture to be made attractive enough for young people to see agriculture as an opportunity, to create jobs, an opportunity to make money and all of that, I think that it is also incumbent on the leadership of our countries in Africa, on the government in Africa, to provide that enabling environment for young people to be able to thrive. Because even when you make agriculture attractive, even when you're able to provide me with facilities to be able to cultivate and do all of these things that I want to do, there ought to be that ready market, right? There ought to be that ready market to be able to buy all of these produce. Because if I'm cultivating and there's no ready market to buy the produce, then it's useless. If I'm cultivating
Okay.
and the roads that lead from my farm to the market where the produce are going to be sold is terrible, then it's useless, right? If I'm cultivating and we do not have industries that are going to add value to the produce that I'm cultivating, then it's useless. So the entire agenda of making agriculture attractive becomes an exercise in futility. So as much as we are talking about making it attractive, we also need to be creating that enabling environment, that avenue for young people to be able to thrive. And that would mean that proper infrastructural
Okay.
development, proper, investments in technology and all of these things. Yeah.
Okay, Karim, thank you very much. There is a question that has just popped up. You just take it down, but you will not answer now. The
Okay.
person says a politician in Ghana said, if you want to be poor, get into farming. Karim, what do you think about that? Just take it down. Just take notes. You are going to come back on that question. I want to move to Nanku Chirima. I had an exchange. We had to discuss at one point, and Nanku, you made a point about agriculture being part of your subject while you were in school? Because it just came back to me while Karim was talking of the educational system. Would you want to throw more light on that point?
Yeah, sure. I studied agriculture in high school, but it came as an optional subject where others would take it, others would not take it. And like the previous speaker spoke about knowledge, I think agriculture should not be made optional. It should come as part of the curriculum, just like other subjects. We have science, we have biology. We learn all those things, and agriculture as well should be explored in that manner. So those are one of the challenges I think we face in the agriculture sector, because people lack knowledge. They think agriculture is all about digging, all about going to the farm, but there's so much agriculture has to offer. It can be an academic discipline. You study, just like any other profession, there's need for knowledge. You learn about it. Yeah, so I think that's what I can add. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So Nanku, do you think that the Zambian youths have interest in agriculture?
Youths are interested in agriculture, but allow me to emphasize the fact that there are challenges that cause youths not to want to go into agriculture. Like the previous speaker spoke, we have funding problems. When you go to a bank as a farmer, you will not be granted a loan because agriculture is not a viable business, So apart from that, I think the society plays a role as well. People who engage in agriculture are considered maybe dropouts, maybe they have nothing to do, and so forth. So more information has to be given concerning that, and people have to learn more about agriculture and not just see it as something that people do out of maybe not having anything to do. It's a profession. It's a business. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I must remind viewers that Nanku Chilima is a year 4 student in agronomy in the University of the People's Friendship in Russia. Thank you very much, Nanku. I want to move to Wakabu. Wakabu, please. After listening to Nanku and Ewaru, I'm seriously learning very much right now. But I would like you to, don't you think the government has a role to play in this issue as well?
Very, very true. Just like someone from Ghana just commented, it is a lot. I am. Can you hear me?
5 on 5.
Just like someone from Ghana commented on Karim's presentation. Yeah, I think it is very, very important to note that the politics, the policies, and how our governments prioritize agriculture should be thought about. I come from a country where agriculture is our backbone, but I think we should change it from being a backbone to being the oxygen we breathe. In this way, people will understand its importance. You can break your backbone and still live, but without oxygen, you can't. So I want us to believe that. I want us to believe that agriculture should go beyond what we have prioritized it for. As someone alluded to the fact that agricultural loans are very hard to achieve in Africa. This is across the board. It's not only in Uganda, nay in Nigeria, not even only in Ghana. Any country you can discuss, our neighbors in Kenya can tell you the same. So I want us to look at how our politicians or our leaders prioritize agriculture. A person, I think it was during the African Development Bank Summit on agriculture in India, that the question came out. China gives a loan to the investors at 5% to come to Africa, and an African youth is getting funding at 20 or 30% interest to invest in agriculture, and they expect you to start paying that loan the first month after receiving the loan. Agriculture is an investment that needs at least 4 months. That is a season for someone to harvest and start paying back the loan. So these policies at some point also affect us so badly. I also want us to look at the other fact that the governments have also failed to attract youth to the agriculture sector. I would want you to go to the website of FAO.
FAO, yeah, Food and Agriculture Organization.
Food and Agriculture Organization. It really worries me when you see photos there are showing an old woman in the garden with tattered clothes. Instead of putting a youth or someone who who shows something that attracts the youth, that's how politicians end up saying that, yeah, if you want to be poor, go to agriculture. Just like someone from Ghana said, I would tell you the same. Maybe some politicians do the same in Uganda. So I want us to understand that it goes back to the system. The system seems to have groomed agriculture to be off the economy. I want you to look at our punishments given in school. A child comes late, he's forced to dig. So youth grow up knowing that, okay, agriculture is a punishment. I think recently I was discussing with a group of students from Gulu University doing agricultural entrepreneurship. And these are questions that came out very hurting. The questions of funding, the question of policy, the question of access to capital. And that's how agriculture becomes very hard. You should be knowing that youth have little access to land in all countries across the board. Access to land is very hard. Access to collateral to access funding, maybe a loan from a bank, is also another problem. But I want us to leave the side of complaining and the side of being pitiful to ourselves as young people. What can we do? If the government has not supported us, what can we do as young people? That is a side I want us to start looking at.
Yeah, definitely we'll come back. Definitely we'll come back to that point because it's going to be discussed on the. So
if you can allow me, finalize with one issue on the challenges in agriculture. Regardless of all these people doing us a disservice as young people, also us as young people have done a disservice to ourselves. I don't want us to blame the government. I don't want us to blame the system alone. As young people, what have we done? That is a question that most of us seem not to ask ourselves. Have we contributed something? Are we doing something towards our betterment in agriculture? We are buying chicken from Brazil. Can someone start up a poultry project that can feed at least people? In 2018, we had a discussion on feeding refugees in Uganda. World Food Program was buying maize from Mexico. And the whole of Africa, we couldn't supply maize, quality maize. It's about the standards we supply. It's about the quality we offer to the market. Can we do something as young people? Can we take on the advantage of the market of the population we have in Africa? Can we do something as young people?
Can we do something? A question. And a question I believe many of the viewers listening to us from in Uganda, in Zambia, in Ghana, in Cameroon, in Mali would want to propose an answer to. Alors, nous n'avons pas oublié les téléspectateurs d'expression française. Et je vais m'adresser tout de suite à Kanté. Kanté, j'espère que tu as pu nous suivre alors que Wakabo, Karim et Nankou étaient en train de nous apporter certains problèmes ou alors des difficultés que les jeunes rencontrent dans le domaine de l'agriculture. Il y a Karim qui a évoqué l'aspect du système éducatif. Il y a Wakabo qui a parlé du gouvernement. Il y a Nankou qui a parlé de la société et et aussi du manque de fonds, de financement. Alors, je reviens à toi, Kanté. Kanté, j'espère que tu es là. Je reviens vers toi pour te demander, parce que Wakabo a soulevé une question très importante. Que penses-tu, n'est-ce pas, qui pourra être fait, n'est-ce pas, pour que l'agriculture ait un intérêt plus particulier chez les jeunes Africains? Kanté? Kanté, est-ce que tu es là? Alors bon, Kanté, d'accord, il est là.
You hear me?
We can hear you. I would love you to speak in French because I believe there are some Malians listening to us and they will really want to hear what you are saying in the other language. We will not mind having you speak in French, just for the sake of the viewers. Pardon?
I think that in Africa, the stereotype of about the sector that, as Nanku said, they use as a punishment for all the young Africans. But today, I think that the government, they are all.
J'aimerais savoir si c'est le problème vient de moi ou alors de tout le monde. Si tout le monde a du mal à écouter Kanté, ou je suis le seul.
Est-ce que vous m'entendez?
Oui, là, je vous entends.
Okay. I say that in Africa, the problem is so particular because there are on people's mind that agriculture is as a punishment. Agriculture is the activity of the poor person. And me, I think that there are only political person who don't have experience in the sector that there in which they are. Because if you are a politician, you go out in manifestation.
Je me rends compte, je ne sais pas, Kanté, je me rends compte que tu es en train de présenter un point très important, mais je ne sais pas si je suis le seul. Tatiana, est-ce que tu rencontres la même difficulté que moi? Parce que là, j'ai du mal. Je ne sais pas si les autres. I don't know. Wakabu, can you hear Kanté?
Ça fait tellement de
sure
bruit.
that everybody is hearing, saying.
I don't know what's happening, but I think his mic is having some issues.
Definitely. I thought I was the only person because he's trying to raise a very important point right there, but we can't really lay a hand on what he's saying. So okay, I think while he fixes. Sorry, yeah.
Let me try and get back to him. Then why can ask another panelist?
Okay. While we wait for Kante, sorry, I'm going to channel this question to Karim. Karim, Wakabu left the stage, I should say so, with one pertinent question. What are we really doing as youths?
All right, thank you very much. If you ask me, I think that as youth we can only do as much. We cannot do so much, and this is the reason why. It is always the responsibility of any government of the people to create an enabling environment for the people to be able to thrive. So even if young people are able to make agriculture attractive for themselves, if young people are able to raise their own funding from, whichever avenue to be able to get into that space, and the government does not provide that enabling environment for young people to be able to thrive, it will still be a huge challenge for young people to be able to thrive. Because you still have governments importing, food crops that ordinarily we'll be able to provide for ourselves. You come to Ghana and we're still importing rice, we're still importing maize, we're importing tomatoes, we're importing chicken, we're importing fish, we're importing pig feet, and all of these things, and that's a huge challenge. So first and foremost, I think that we need to start advocating for our government to invest hugely in agricultural infrastructure. When I talk about agricultural infrastructure, so I'm talking about warehouses. So that when we cultivate, we have enough warehouses to be able to store all of these food crops, right? To protect them from the bad weather conditions that we face, so we can reduce post-harvest losses, which is a key challenge that farmers in our part of the world face today. Two, we also need to ensure that we advocate effectively for our governments to set up factories, processing plants, so that we can process our food crops right from the word go. Because if we cultivate and we are unable to process, then it becomes a challenge. And look, get this. The reason why African governments are unable to really enjoy the benefits of all of the things that we have, all of our raw materials and our minerals, is because we fail to add value to them. And so when we cultivate, all
Value.
we do
Yeah.
is to carry the raw materials to a so-called world market that nobody knows where it is. So at the end of the day, you're moving all of your raw materials to go sell in a world market where you do not even know, the location of that world market. And then they process it and bring it back to you again, where you buy it at a huge cost, even way more than how much you sold it. So at the end of the day, the money is literally just going. All right. So we need to ensure that we put up processing plants, we put up factories that would be able to process all of these food crops that we're cultivating, so we can add more value to all of these things. Then also, I want to urge a lot of African people: look, if we want the African farmer to succeed, if we want the African farmer to be able to make money, then we also need to ensure that we start buying from the African farmers. So can we reduce our insatiable taste for foreign goods? Can we reduce our taste for imported chicken and start focusing more on eating local chicken? Can we reduce our taste for foreign fish and start eating more of our local fish? Can we start looking at eating more of our our local tomatoes and our local fruits and vegetables and start buying from our own people? Because when we start doing these things, then it means that we'll be giving the farmers money and we'll be urging and encouraging them to cultivate more and to buy more. Young people can come together and set up processing plants if they want to, because there are lots of young people in Africa who have the money and can do it. But a lot of us do not want to get into partnerships, and I think that's very wrong. We need to start looking at getting into partnerships. We all cannot be bosses. We all can, because when we do that, there's going to be a lot of unnecessary competition in the system. So can we look at how best we can put money together? Maybe if I have $1 million and Tatiana has $1 million, and we need about $2 million to put up a factory together. Imagine that we put our $1 million each together. What's going to happen? It means that we're going to be able to put up a factory. And when we put up that factory, there are going to be several millions of people who would benefit from the goodwill of that factory, right? So you African youth will now have to start looking at how best we can partner and get to really invest our collective resources into the agricultural space, so that we do not only benefit alone, but create an opportunity for other people to be able to benefit within that space as well. Then also we need to also take the pain to learn about this space. You see, it's an entire value chain. It is not just limited to going to the farm and just cultivating alone, but there's the addition of value stage. There's even the educational stage. There's the innovation stage. There are people who innovate, who come up with new technologies every day. Just 2 days ago, I was mentoring a group of young people who were going into, a pitch competition, and their business was around, agriculture. So they've come up with a new technology that allows for farmers to, test their soil themselves. So very simple technology, very easy to do technology, and all the farmers need to do is just buy a test kit and then test the soil themselves. And their color codes.
Would you want to save that detail so that we discuss it when technology?
Sure, no
I feel I feel it's already burning. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
That's Karim. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to go back to Wakabu. Wakabu, do you have for 1 minute just something to chip in from what Karim said? I got we need to add values to what we produce. We need to learn about the field, and we need to innovate. So Wakabu, just in just 1 minute, you say something, and we I think we'll have a break.
Pardon me, you want me to allude to the question of what can we produce as young people?
Definitely, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that is something very easy. There is market for anything and everything in Africa. That's what I can tell you. But as Karim said, adding value to these raw materials that we're exporting will do us good, because by processing our hides and skins into the leather seats that are put in Mercedes-Benz, maybe they buy a kilo of hides at around $1, and they bring it back when it's very expensive. So if we are to process our own raw materials, probably this could get us more jobs for the young people. It could get us more money on the international market. It would get us value for our produce, and it will give farmers a more stable income. And I wish the question of bulking, the question of warehousing, like Karim said earlier, it could do us good, because we can access the market, we can add value when we have a bulk and a huge number of produce. Not forgetting the fact that most of the African farmers who produce for the market are smallholder farmers with an acre or two. So they cannot produce enough to do the value addition themselves. We have to do cooperatives. We have to have groups. We have to do circles. We have to do maybe anything that can bring the produce together for better processing and better marketing.
Okay, thank you very much, Wakabo. Thank you. I don't know if Kante has been able to fix his problem, but at this point in time, we are going to calm down a little, have a break, and we'll be coming back to tackle the issue of technology, because Karim has really been nailing on that point, technology, new technologies. So as we come back after the break, we'll be talking about the new technology. So let's come back after the break.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ability. You are capable of anything. You can achieve any dream. Please don't limit yourself. Don't live your life limited. It's not all sadness and misery. Life's a challenge, but you will succeed. Take control of how you feel in every circumstance. Work on yourself daily. Your story's far from done. The best is yet to come. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You got the power all in you.
Okay, we are back, viewers, téléspectateurs de partout dans le monde, en Afrique et en Europe, en Asie, en Amérique. Merci de nous rejoindre une fois de plus. Alors, nous sommes là depuis 18 heures passées, et nous traitons des affaires de l'agriculture, et nous avons jusqu'ici pu écouter des experts en la matière, des jeunes Africains, tout comme vous et moi, qui ont, n'est-ce pas, une connaissance assez avancée dans le domaine de l'agriculture et qui ont pu partager avec nous ici tout le savoir en termes d'agriculture. Alors, je crois que Kanté est revenu. Alors, Kanté, j'espère que le problème a déjà été résolu. Je vais t'envoyer cette question, n'est-ce pas, des nouvelles technologies en agriculture. Parce que depuis, si tu as pu bien écouter, Karim ne faisait qu'insister sur les nouvelles technologies et vraiment, il fallait qu'on l'arrête parce que il était déjà chaud bouillant. Alors, tu pourrais nous parler un peu des nouvelles technologies en termes d'agriculture, Kanté? Est-ce que Kanté est
Vous
là?
me recevez bien? Vous me recevez bien?
Voilà, très bien maintenant, Kanté. Alors, je te reçois
Ok,
très bien.
d'accord. Donc, en parlant de technologie, je pense que je vais parler en français là, parce qu'il y a beaucoup de termes assez techniques que je ne maîtrise pas en anglais. Donc, je dirais
D'accord.
qu'en parlant de technologie, elle est vraiment importante au sein du milieu agricole parce qu'on voit que dans d'autres pays, ils sont à des niveaux agriculture 4.0 et que nous, aujourd'hui, dans les perspectives de développement, l'État ne met pas à ses dispositions et notre environnement même ne favorise pas en fait cet état de pouvoir vraiment développer tout ce qui est technologie agricole. Parce qu'en parlant de technologie agricole, c'est pas seulement des drones qui sont en appui, mais c'est surtout mettre en place des machines qui peuvent vraiment nous aider à pouvoir travailler au maximum plus que peut-être les hommes. Et aussi au niveau de la rentabilité des produits agricoles, quelles sont les stratégies, quelles sont les techniques quand même assez innovantes qui peuvent être insérées au sein des universités agricoles ou bien des centres agricoles, des technologies à la pointe qui peuvent vraiment nous aider à pouvoir répondre ce défi agricole qui est là. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, ça fait vraiment, vraiment mal de voir qu'il n'y a pas de personnes ambitieuses qui fixent ces politiques de développement agricole. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, nous, jeunesse, nous avons l'ambition de faire. Mais est-ce que, comme je le disais, les politiciens qui sont au high level actuellement, est-ce qu'ils ont cette ambition de pouvoir faire changer des choses? J'en suis convaincu que Karim, Nankou et Wakabo, voilà, Wakabo, s'ils sont aujourd'hui à la tête, par exemple, d'une structure ministérielle à pouvoir gérer, parce que ici, c'est pas question de dire que je suis dans un poste. Est-ce que dans cette poste de responsabilité, vous allez pouvoir assurer, vous allez pouvoir impacter votre communauté positivement. Donc, voici cette dynamique-là que moi, aujourd'hui, j'ai vraiment confiance en cette jeunesse africaine qui, aujourd'hui, beaucoup de jeunes, aujourd'hui aussi, ont des technologies à valoir au sein de notre communauté africaine, mais les moyens, les financements nécessaires, les accompagnements nécessaires leur manquent afin de pouvoir mettre au point ces technologies qui pourront nous aider. Si on voit la Chine, en si peu de temps, je dirais, était dans la même situation que les pays africains, mais arrive à se démarquer avec un potentiel hors norme comparé à l'Afrique. Aujourd'hui, l'Afrique consomme plus de 80% des produits importés, alors que nous avons quelque chose à valoir. Donc, il y a tous ces facteurs-là qui doivent être vraiment des... Mais j'en suis convaincu qu'avec l'avancée du marché de l'agro-business, qu'il y aura beaucoup d'améliorations parce que le marché de l'agro-business va quitter les 300 milliards de dollars pour avoisiner les 1000 milliards de dollars. Donc, de quoi faire profiter les petites et moyennes entreprises et les autres exploitants agricoles. J'en suis convaincu aussi que même si l'État ne fait pas de son mieux par rapport au secteur, c'est qu'il y aura des entrepreneurs vraiment consciencieux, il y aura des jeunes consciencieux vraiment qui feront l'affaire, Inch'Allah, dans le continent.
D'accord, merci beaucoup, Kanté. Alors, pendant que tu parlais, là, j'ai pu relever certains points. Tu as parlé de l'environnement qui n'était pas favorable. Est-ce que tu pourrais nous égayer et nous éclaircir davantage sur ce point? Tu as également parlé de la technologie d'agriculture agricole qui ne nécessitait pas seulement le fait d'avoir des drones, mais d'avoir aussi des machines. De quelles machines s'agit-il réellement, Kanté?
Agricole, on voit qu'il y a beaucoup de défis quand même qui sont là. Aujourd'hui, nous, on veut des machines assez performantes pour pouvoir étendre et mettre à nos productions à échelle industrielle. Mais est-ce que les producteurs locaux de ces machines ont cette compétence? Non, ils n'ont pas ces compétences. Ils manquent vraiment de formation. Et en parlant de environnement non favorable, il y a tous ces facteurs-là qui sont pris en compte, les parties prenantes qui sont les banques qui sont là, la jeunesse africaine en particulier, quelle est l'image de l'agriculture qu'on insère aujourd'hui dans la tête de la jeunesse africaine. Aujourd'hui, quand on me dit la jeunesse et l'agriculture est un travail de pauvre, parce que je voyais que au Ghana, qu'on disait, il y a une question qui avait été posée à Karim qui disait que les politiciens ghanéens disent que si vous voulez rester pauvre, continuez dans l'agriculture. Je pense bien que c'était ça en fait.
L'agriculture.
Voilà, exactement. Moi, aujourd'hui, je me dis que l'agriculture n'est pas un travail de pauvre, en fait. Voilà pourquoi elle permet aux pauvres personnes de pouvoir survivre.
L'agriculture
Voilà
n'est pas un
quelle
travail de
image.
pauvre.
Voilà, l'agriculture n'est pas un travail de pauvre. Voilà pourquoi elle permet aux pauvres de pouvoir survivre. Aujourd'hui, une personne qui dit que l'agriculture est un travail de pauvre et qu'on lui dit d'aménager une surface de 1 hectare pour pouvoir exploiter, il va savoir vraiment que l'agriculture demande des moyens. Et les pauvres qui en sont, qui en sont ces petits producteurs, aujourd'hui, les pauvres représentent un pilier par rapport au secteur agricole africain. Parce que ils ont très peu de soutien et ils arrivent à pouvoir produire au maximum pour pouvoir combler l'importation qui s'ajoute. Voilà pourquoi moi je dis que l'environnement n'est pas vraiment favorable, que ce soit aux structures bancaires, des manques de financement, l'État qui ne fait pas de forte communication par rapport à l'entrepreneuriat agricole, à l'agriculture de manière générale. On voit que ce sont ces mêmes publicités agricoles depuis des années 2000, 1990 qui sont rediffusées à chaque fois dans les chaînes de télévision.
On a de la peine à
voilà.
vous écouter, je crois, j'espère que je ne suis pas le seul. Tatiana, est-ce que tu arrives à écouter Kanté? Tu arrives à le suivre là? À un moment donné, j'ai l'impression que je ne le suivais pas vraiment. Tatiana?
Je pense que c'est ta connexion, Flora. Moi, je le suivais très bien. Je pense que c'était ta connexion.
Ma connexion, parce que là, moi, je te suis très bien, mais lui, non, vers la fin.
Mais je pense qu'on le suivait. Je ne sais pas ce qui s'est passé, mais bon.
Ah, d'accord. Ok, d'accord. On peut le remettre pour qu'il concluse. Alors, I would like to invite the media team to please bring back Kante so he can, I think he has to round off on his statement.
Ok. Je pense que je vais conclure en anglais. Pour terminer, to finish that, I want to say that there are the bad seeing of agriculture and our environment is not so good to share or to give so many opportunities to all the young African youth. So I think that our political system, our system of investment are not adapted to the reality of the continent. Yeah, c'est ce que je voulais dire. Merci.
Thank you very much. Our system is not adapted to the environment. I want to go back to Karim. Karim, I'm coming back to you. Here we are. New technologies in agriculture. Karim has just brought out the point of the non-favorable environment and machines that are not up to date, I should say that way. And he concluded by saying that our government systems are not adapted to the environment. What is your take on this?
All right. Thank you very much once again, and thank you to everybody that is watching us and has been with us from the onset. So I talked about technology, and technology is a key thing that we ought to look at properly if we are going to be able to thrive as far as agriculture is concerned within the African continent. And this is the reason why, as now we're not getting lots of young people, lots of educated people going into that space, right? And so with a few the uneducated ones that are within that space, what can we do to help them? What we can do to help them is to ensure that we do a lot of work as far as technological, infrastructure is concerned. And I talked about the fact that within the African continent today, as we speak, we still have people that are cultivating, with hoes and cutlasses, and that should not even be happening. That's like These are things that we should have left, years back, and move into proper technological advancement where there's huge, logistics and all of that. We're in an era where there should be a lot of tractors, there should be lots of planters and sprayers and combine harvesters, and in fact, in some parts of the world today, people use drones to be able to detect pests right on their crops. So what are we doing as a people? People use drones to be able to check the size of their lands. People use drones to be able to even spray weedicides and pesticides and all of these things on their crops. There's technology that people use to be able to test their soils and all of these things. But we do not really have that happening in our part of the world today. Even and those that are doing it, we have just a handful of people doing it. But how much can they do? You see, once there's technological advancement, what it does is that it takes a lot of burden off the physical manpower, right? And leaves that burden on technology. So if I'm a smallholder farmer who was cultivating just 1 acre or 2 acres because I was doing everything, physically with my hands and all of that and my energy, once I have access to technology, it means that I can expand and do more than the 1 acre or the 2 acres that I used to do, maybe a 50 or 100 or even a hectare. You get it? That's what technological advancement does, but we do not have that happening. And the reason why I still come back to the governments again is that, you see, can we put a subsidy on the cost of all of these items, on the cost of a tractor, on the cost of a combine harvester, on the cost of drones, on the cost of sprayers, planters, and all of these things? Once there is a subsidy, it means that at least we can give farmers that opportunity to be able to afford some of these things. Can governments step in and say, look, you know what? The government is going to buy all of these machinery and give out to farmers and give you an opportunity to pay back in bits, probably with no interest whatsoever at all. Because at the end of the day, if the farmers succeed, it is a nation that succeeds. Whatever revenues that they're going to be making, they're going to pay taxes. So the government is going to benefit. They're going to create jobs. So it takes the burden of the government from creating jobs, because the government creates an enabling environment for people to create jobs for people. Right. And that's why I think that our governments really need to start focusing so much on agriculture. We need to diversify our economies. We cannot continue depending on the gold and the diamond and the bauxite and all of these things. But can we also start depending on tomatoes? Can we start depending on watermelons, on mangoes, right? On pineapples, on pepper, on onions? So government will need to look at all of these things, but then it will take huge technological advancements. It will take huge investments in that space to be able to get, agriculture to thrive, to where we want it to get to. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Karim. That was very powerful. So we're going to go to the next question, and it's going to be addressed to Mr. Wakabu. Mr. Wakabu, what do you think is lacking in the agricultural sector in Africa? What do you think is lacking? Why is it that the agricultural sector has not reached the top in Africa?
I think that is a very big question that really needs to be looked at in a very critical way. And for me, as my personal opinion, I believe it is how our governments have taken choices on agriculture. There seems to be a lot left out hanging. There seems to be, like I think Karim alluded to the fact that mechanization and technological advancement is still a bit low for most of the countries. But also, to me, I want to believe that is something we cannot go against.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can get you. The internet was kind of
cracking,
but I can get you.
Yeah, so I'm saying that
Wakabu, I can get you.
That Africa is doing cocoa, cotton, and challenge is in our biggest challenge still stands as value addition. I want to believe that the cocoa that is produced in West Africa and brought back to Africa as candy and chocolate could be processed in Africa. I think only Ghana has one processing company or factory for cocoa, and they produce a lot. The rest is exported to Mexico and it comes back as candy. Look at us in Uganda. We produce a lot of coffee and export it to Germany, UK, and the rest. Can we process it and sell processed coffee? Can we process our candy to sell the chocolate? Can we process our hides and skins to sell the leather? Can we add value to these producers or these agricultural products? So I think that on production, we are doing a bit well, not so well, but at least there is something done. But can we add value to our producers? That I think will help us to improve the sector in two ways. One, it will increase the amount of money that is going back to the pockets of the government, as well as the money that is going back to the pockets of the farmers. It will call upon a number of youth when they see that the turn up from agriculture is high, they will come by themselves. No one will need to attract them. They will be attracted by themselves. The third thing, it will increase jobs for young people, jobs for anyone who is willing to join the sector, be it in production, because the money will be there, be it in value addition, money will be there, be it in exportation, money will be there. There is no need as to why we sell 1 kilogram of skin, hide and skin, especially when you look at the goat skin, because the one that used to make this expensive leather. You sell a goat skin a kilo at $50 in Uganda, or even less. And it comes back when it is $40 or $50 as a shoe. Can we do something as Africans to add value to what we produce? It hurts me when I have to plant coffee and sell a kilogram at $0.25 and buy Nescafe at $1. I'm creating jobs for other people in the coffee we produce in Uganda, and I'm buying expensively the same coffee after production or processing. Can we add value to what we produce in Africa? That is something that I would want us to all ask ourselves. And as young people, value addition is very easy. Be it if you want to sell corn, can you process it to get the maize and sell the bran too? Because bran is bought by maybe pig and chicken farmers, and they're willing to give you some good money, as well as the corn. After processing for the maize, it can also be taken on for food. So we have to look at far beyond selling our produce unprocessed. There is a big potential in value addition.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Wakabu. I'm going to send the question to Mr. Adama Kante. So, Mr. Adama Kante, what can you add? What do you think is lacking in the agricultural sector in Africa? Qu'est-ce que tu penses manque dans le secteur agricole en Afrique?
Excusez-moi, vous pouvez répondre la question?
What do you think is lacking in the agricultural sector in Africa? Qu'est-ce que tu penses manque dans le secteur agricole en Afrique?
Yeah. Je pense que le secteur agricole africain a un réel potentiel. Le potentiel y est, et que je pense que je vais dire en anglais parce que je me sens plus à l'aise, quoi. Même si c'est vrai que je fais des erreurs, ça va aller. Voilà.
Okay.
I think that agriculture sector in Africa has so many potential, and in the 10 next year will come in. So our demographic will grow, and this is a real opportunities for all the entrepreneur or business entrepreneur in agribusiness to grow also the rate of their production, as well as in farming or producing vegetables or producing animals like poultry. So I think that it will be good for all of us to be positive about the future of Africa, because if the political don't do, we African youth, we will do. That's all the thing that I want to say.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Adama Kante. So the
Thank
next
you.
question is going to be channeled to Mr. Adams Karim. So since you impact in the agricultural sector, what has been your challenges? What has been your
Sorry.
main challenges?
Thank you, Tatiana. So I think that my challenges are not far from the challenge that every other, farmer within the African continent is faced with. Definitely, we can talk about funding, which is a huge challenge. I mean, a young person getting into agriculture, you need to be financially stable to be able to get into that space. So funding is a major challenge. Access to land also is a challenge sometimes because young people do not have land, so you need to either lease the land or buy the land, or sometimes even beg for the land to be able to cultivate crops on it. So that's also one major challenge that we are faced with. Um, the storage also is another major challenge that we are faced with because the markets are usually quite far away from the location of the farms. And so you'd have to store them and ensure that these produce do not go bad. Post-harvest losses, obviously, because most of the produce end up going bad because the routes that would take you to the farms are in very deplorable states. And that's also one major challenge that lots of, young farmers within the African continent are faced with. There are so many of them that I can enumerate, but I think I'd also allow for other panelists and other speakers to do that as well. So the challenges are literally the same across board.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Karim. So, Mr. Wakabu, do you have anything to add to what Mr. Karim said about the challenges of the agricultural sector in Africa?
Obviously, I can't fail to do that. Among things that I picked from Karim's discussion earlier, I think this skipped my mind. I couldn't talk about it earlier, about technology. I want to believe that Africa has a challenge with how best we're using our technologies here. Because we can no longer do things the way it was done by our forefathers 2,000 or 1,000 years back. We can no longer till the land using the hands. We can no longer do that. We can't still be doing things the same way. We need to do mechanization. And I applaud the work of a number of African countries. I think Uganda inclusive and a bit of Kenya. I don't know about the West Africa. But there has been a number of subsidies on agricultural inputs. But the question still goes back to who accesses these inputs. The smallholder farmers have a number of challenges compared to the commercial farmers. Smallholder farmers have a challenge of poor quality inputs. Trust me, inputs on market that are accessed by these local farmers might not be the quality they are supposed to receive. Counterfeits are there. And second, the access to market. That is something that breaks every farmer. When you invest whatever you've invested, your time, your money, your energy, and you're told a kilogram of maize is 400 Ugandan shillings, that is approximately not even a quarter a dollar. And trust me, this will not give you enough energy to come back to dig the next day. And leave that aside, the knowledge base. We have a gap in the knowledge base. Compared to the research that is being made in most of these research institutions, the trickle down of knowledge to the farmer is still a gap. There is still a gap there. But as we talk about that, I want not to forget that there is also a challenge of policy. The policies need to be discussed intensively. We need to engage in a policy discussion. We need to work policies that work for agriculture in Africa. If it's funding, let's find the best way to fund agriculture. If it's agricultural insurance, those are things we need to start discussing about. We need to change our loaning strategy so that we can help farmers to grow themselves. But as for young people, I will still go back to young people. Even when you don't have the land, even when you don't have the money to start small. But as you start small, find a niche in the value chain. You might not produce, You might not be the one to go to the garden, but you might be the one to link the farmers to the next market. They call them middlemen, but I don't want to call them that. I want to say that you find a niche that you can help to link the market. Maybe you can find a niche in processing. You can find a niche in being the salesperson for a certain farm. So there is a big potential in agriculture beyond just production. Find what can work on how much you have in your pocket as a young person.
Wow. Thank you very much. I think Mr. Florent can continue. Mr. Florent, are you getting me? Mr. Florent, can you continue or? Okay, thank you very much once again, Mr. Wakabu, for this wonderful presentation. So I'm going to channel the next question to Nanku. Nanku is a fourth-year student at the People's Friendship University, Moscow, at the Faculty of Agronomy. So Nanku, what has been your challenges when you decided to study agronomy? I understood from our previous discussions that your friends, your family members didn't want you to study agronomy, given the fact that they had the mentality that agriculture is for the illiterate, agriculture is for the poor. So what has been your challenges since you started studying agriculture? Can you unmute your mic, please?
Sorry for that. Yeah, so I was saying, just like you've mentioned, that itself is a challenge. If everyone else does not believe in what you're doing, as a person, you tend to feel as though you're not having all that support. But regardless of that, if you have a passion for what you want to study, I believe nothing can pull you down. So when you talk of the challenges I'm facing as an agronomy student right now, I would say I'm enjoying every aspect of it because I'm gaining so much knowledge currently. The only challenge I would say would be what happens if I go back home, because when we are talking about the technology, I've been exposed to so much technology here where I'm studying, like there's so much, but it's a different story when you go back home. So I may not be able to exercise or function fully in my profession, but I'm hoping for the best.
But do you think you can groom the younger ones when you go back home with the new technologies you've learned?
Definitely. Of course, like we are saying, the youths have to rise. We have to speak, and the governments have to favor agriculture. So if we are talking about technology, all these technologies, people have to move from the olden ways of farming. We have to improve, so all these things have to be brought to light. We have to discuss these things. We have to bring them to their attention. That way we will have what we need. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm going to channel the next question to Mr. Karim. So, Mr. Karim, if you were given an option to choose again, will you choose agriculture?
My answer is and would forever remain a yes.
Yeah, and why? Because it's the passion, right?
As the passion is the love for it. So it's just going to be a yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, forever, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask the same question to Mr. Wakabu. So if you were given the option to choose, will you still be in the agricultural sector? Because we understand that some people choose some things not because of their own, choices, but because maybe your mother was a farmer, you grew in a poor background, then you started being in the agricultural sector, or you started farming. So, Mr. Wakabu, if you were given the opportunity once again, will you choose agriculture?
There is no better place I would rather be.
That is awesome. Mr.
If I'm allowed to add something on that, as we earlier said, that every day we eat, every day we need to feed our population that grows. I think there is a strategy to feed the 50 billion. Is it 50 billion? 50 billion people by 2050. So every day there is an opportunity for someone who is born to feed, and every day there is someone who is impoverished with maybe hunger on African continent because they don't have what to feed. So if I'm able to feed and save lives, where else can I be? I think that I'm in the right place.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wakabu. So can we have Mr. Adama Kante? I'll still ask him the same question.
Yeah.
So if you were given the opportunity, if you're given the option to choose, will you choose agriculture again?
For me, the first investment of entrepreneur on his project is passion. And me, I'm passionate by agriculture, and I will only be in agriculture.
Okay. So once again, we want to thank all our viewers for watching this live. So Mr. Karim, if you have to leave a word for our viewers watching, what will be your last words to them?
For me, basically, I'm going to tell all African youth out there to keep pushing, to keep working hard, to be optimistic that a day is going to come when things are going to work, where we are going to become the beacon of hope again. So all hope is not lost. Definitely there are challenges within our continents, there are challenges in our respective countries. And there are lots of us who are running every single day to other parts of the world to seek greener pastures. Well, that's fine. But let's be hopeful, let's be optimistic, and let's work together to build Africa.
Yes, we are together. We are working together to build Africa. So, Mr. Wakabu, what do you have to say? What do you have to add?
Yeah, I would have my final words as words of hope to young people. We have not lost it all yet. There is hope. We can do better. We can start small. We can do what we can at this time. We can improve the agricultural sector by ourselves. We can. Let's not give up. Let's not give up hope. Let's keep moving. Africa.
Thank you very much.
For us all, we shall get to the Africa we want.
Yes, yes, we shall get towards the Africa we want. And as Mr. Wakabu said, there is hope. There is hope. We have hope, and we have hope for change. We have hope for impact in Africa. We have hope for economic development in Africa. We have hope for many young people involved in the agricultural sector. So, Mr. Damakante, what do you have to say as your last word for this panel?
About this panel,
yeah,
and I think that about this panel, I think that this was so important for being in different country and be here to exchange, because me, I'm not fluent in English, but I'm fluent in French, and I try to adapt myself to the situation. And I think that nobody will do for Africans, for African youth. And now I think that there are so many young who take conscious about all the problem. And now we African, we have to believe in ourselves. We have to say that if they don't do, we are gonna do. We are gonna make means. We are gonna make means on our position to do what they don't have. They are not able to do. So we have to be confident about the future of Africa. And we are working, and there are so many young African who are working, but they because of lack of the means, there are all the time in comment on appelle ça, en cette stade de faiblesse, en fait, ils sont toujours bas.
Weakness.
weakness, this weakness of our system, but we are gonna be focused and develop the continent. Thank you.
Mr. Flo. So I'm going to channel the next question. So Miss Nanko, I was already very far. I think I'm having a vision of her getting married soon. So Miss Nanko, what do you have to say as your last word for this panel?
I'd like to say thank you so much for organizing this panel. It has really been so helpful. Then to the viewers, I would simply say agriculture is the deal. There's no two ways about it. We need to see more and more youths in the agriculture sector. And we as youths, we are the future, as the saying goes every time. So let's be involved in agriculture. Let's take part in all these things. There's no need for us to be waiting. Maybe after we graduate, we start waiting and say, okay, let's start looking for employment. You can be your own boss. So that's what I can say.
Okay, Mr. Floha, our able host.
Oh, thank you very much. I must apologize. I'm very sorry. My connection was behaving strangely. And Tatiana, I would love to know, there was a question a viewer asked. I don't know if they answered the question. Sorry, I just want to be sure, the viewers are our VIPs.
I think we didn't answer it. Thank you for reminding me. I think we didn't answer the questions of the viewers. So
Karim, that question your brother from Ghana asked, I would just love you to just in 1 minute give an answer so the person will not say, he refused to answer my question.
So I want to think about this question in another light, and so I'll probably one of the ways I want to look at this question is maybe the politician is saying that as a result of the inefficiencies that he's seen within the agricultural space, and that's why he'd say that if you want to be poor, then get into farming. But then even if that happens to be the case, I'll be very disappointed in that politician for saying that, because in that position of influence, in that position of power that he has an opportunity to be able to fix the system and make things right, so that people can get into that space. So if you know that venturing into agriculture would mean doom or poverty for young people, why doesn't he help in fixing that system so that people could go in there and make money? If that is the angle that he's speaking from, then I'd say that I'm very disappointed in him and he should bow his head in shame. On the other end, it could also be that in reality, the politician does not really know what fortunes that agriculture presents. And so that's why he will talk like that. And so he's talking from the point of ignorance. And while that is fine, ignorance can be forgiven if people accept their fault and are willing to learn and get to understand a particular space properly. So I'm saying that he's talking out of ignorance, and he needs to cure himself from ignorance by making time to probably sit in an agribusiness 101 class or agriculture 101 class to really understand what the agricultural space means, and what agriculture in itself means, and what potential it has as far as the African continent is concerned. So these are the two sides I'm going to look at that question from looking at it from the side of, you're in a position of influence, you can make change. So why not make change and then stop spewing such ignorant and derogatory and discouraging statements to young people?
Thank you very much, Karim. I believe that Abdul Aziz is satisfied right now. So Tatiana has said it all. I want to thank you all for honoring this invitation. We are very grateful. Yes?
I think there were other questions. I think Wesley can pop the different questions that we had.
Okay,
there were other
okay,
questions,
then fine.
We can
Then
ask
fine.
any other panelists. Okay.
Then fine. Okay. My question is, if you did a special formation or training in agriculture before investing, or you are training way practicing, I don't know to whom this question was addressed. I'm sure it was to
I think you can ask any other panel.
Well, it's like a question targeted to somebody.
Okay.
The person was.
Can I give?
Yes, Wakabu. Yes.
A general understanding of the question. Agriculture might not need you to undergo special training, but it needs you to understand your niche, what exactly you want to invest in. Are you going to invest in production? Then get to have knowledge about it. Sometimes, as young people, I would want to employ us to learn on the job. You know, every time you're like, I want to first go through training, you might never get there. Make the mistakes, learn from them, get better.
Okay. Someone else has something to add?
Yeah, that's the next
Nanku?
question.
Okay. So how can we African, I'm reading, how can we African youths normalize the idea of farming or investing in agriculture among us? Nanku?
Yeah, so I think we have already tackled this question. The only thing we can do as youths is to engage in it. You know, the more we engage in it, the more it becomes normal. And when it comes to investing, you just don't have to think twice about it. It's a business. You go into it as a business. You see it as a business. So just like any other business, I think there are risks involved, there are advantages, and there are challenges. So you don't go into agriculture with the mindset of thinking, no, maybe I'm going to gain a loss or I'm going to do this. You go in it with the mind of the business. Yeah, I think maybe the other speakers would add on to that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Please, if you permit me, can Adama Kante say something on that, because he has an agro investment company. So I think he is well placed to answer that question. So.
Okay, thank you. So about the last question, I want to interact because I don't have how to say, I'm not educated in agriculture faculty or center, but I decide by myself to with 10,000 I begin I begin my agriculture production, and now I have a big society, big company which produce and transform agro food. And about this second question, so I think that African young are moving and believing in agriculture sector, because with my investment society, so there are so many young people who invest in agriculture. Maybe they don't have time to produce or to make the same activities because of their job, or they are the jobs, but they prefer to invest, to be one of to make the effort to consolidate agricultural sector. And me on my business model, it really work. And I believe that there are so many young who are investing, and that give me hope for the future of Africa agriculture. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kante.
I think that you understand me. I'm not fluent in English.
Yeah, we did. No, it's okay. It's okay. Any other question popping up? I think there is none. Okay, I very much believe in us all right here. I know someday there's going to be I'm sure we have the replacement of Mr. Kadesina in this group. I'm very sure. Wakabo, Adams, Karim, Kante, Nanku. I think we can really take that place and bring it. We believe. I understand that he is doing very much already as the president of the African Development Bank, but I know with these ideas you people have, we can have a better and better Africa. Thank you all very much for your very intelligent contributions to this panel, and thanks to the viewers. Merci à tous les téléspectateurs au Mali. Nous vous disons merci d'avoir rejoint le live streaming. Merci beaucoup, merci énormément. nous espérons que ce panel a pu vous apporter un plus dans votre connaissance dans le secteur agricole, ou alors a pu vous booster, vous pousser davantage à, n'est-ce pas, vouloir vous aventurer dans le secteur agricole. Tout comme Kanté, il a commencé, il avait juste 14 ans et avec une somme de 10 000 francs CFA. Donc, c'est déjà beaucoup pour vous booster dans l'œuvre. Vous voyez, you can see Karim himself with his degree in another field, and he's in agriculture, and you could hear all what he shared with us. Wakabu, Nanko, Tatiana. In fact, we are blessed to have people like you in Africa, and we believe in the Africa of tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, I should say it was a great time. Tatiana, I hope you enjoyed yourself as myself.
Of course, I enjoyed. How can I not enjoy with such great minds? Hopefully, we're going to have another panel. So I can't wait for a part 2.
Definitely. So at the beginning, I had Nanku greet people in their local language, and Tatiana as well. We didn't hear from Ewaro and Wakabu. I think even Kante, we didn't hear anything. So let me begin with Kante. Kante, tu vas dire un mot au peuple malien en langue locale malienne, hein, une langue locale de ton choix, ou alors ta langue locale, juste pour être sûr que à Bamako, là-bas, on nous écoute. Unmute yourself, unmute your mic, unmute yourself.
On vula malien no ayotike korota.
Okay, the people have heard you. Okay, over to you, Adams Karim.
I didn't really get your question again. If you could repeat that.
Actually, we want you to say a word you could choose, a word of encouragement or a word of greetings to the Ghanaian people in. I think there's a language called Ntwi language, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Choose any local language of Ghana, and then you say something, some words.
Okay, so I'm basically just gonna speak Twi because I think that's more universally reaching within the country. And see, many of Ghana for mebuna more Ghana mu team. I was say yetumi share your hunting na yekaya boom na yetumi boy juma den said be ya no betumpon etumi akon anim. Madam was se mo nyina mo nya adaje ebehwe etie futu a ye wo ma mo nyina ne nsema ya kai nyina efa agriculture ho. Madam was nyame show bibia.
I heard one word, agriculture. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Wakabu, can we have you say something to our people in Uganda in the local language? Wakabu? Has he gone? Oh, it's like Wakabu has left.
I think he left.
Okay, no, that's no problem. All right, thank you very much. And I know it's nighttime there too. It's night here, so I wish you all a good night and see you at the next panel. It would not be very long. It's going to come very, very soon. Thank you all very much. Thank you, viewers. Thank you to the media team. You guys did a great job. We are grateful. Thank you very much, YMD. Thank you very much. And Africa, unite Africa. We are the future generation. Thank you very much and bye-bye.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ability. You're capable of anything. You can achieve any dream. Please don't limit yourself. Don't live your life limited. It's not all sadness and misery. Life's a challenge, but you will succeed. Take control of how you feel in every circumstance. Work on yourself. yet to come. To achieve, you must believe.